Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. It really does help us out. We're on the road to 10K. We're probably going to hit it during this live stream, and we are so thankful for each and every one of you. But welcome here to the launch pad and our live launch coverage of Starlink 4-1, launching on top of a Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. If it's your first time here, hi, my name's Zach. I'm the host here at the Launchpad here at TLP. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, and we believe that space is better together. We invite you to join our community by engaging that subscribe button, be active in the chat, checking out our Discord and Etsy shops links below. And we are counting down to a liftoff time of 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time. So about 20 where are we landing? About 22 minutes from now. SpaceX, we expect to go live in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, as they generally go live about T-minus 13 minutes for Starlink missions. First Starlink mission in a number of months. Also, a slightly smaller payload, only 53 Starlink satellites on board compared to the usual 66 that we see. Today's mission 4-1. So this is the first batch going into the fourth shell of the Starlink constellation. What that means is Starlink will have 8 shells of its satellites, so 8 layers of satellites in orbit. Today's payload's going to the fourth one, and it's the first time there. So the upcoming Starlink mission we have later this month is 2-2. That'll be the second batch going into the second shell. We're going to start seeing this more and more as SpaceX has about 2.5 years to complete the first half of shells 1 through 8. and then they have 4 more years after that to complete the entire constellation. And they really do need Starship to work to be able to get Starlink fully produced and deployed in the time frame that they have, but they are making it do with the Falcon 9, as that's their only option right now. As always, when we get started, take a moment, let us know where you're watching from, share out the broadcast, let people know that we are about 20 minutes away from liftoff of a Falcon 9 here, launching out of Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. First launch from Slick 40 we've seen also in a little bit. Great to see many regulars in the chat. Virginia, good to see you. J.A., hello. Nightcat, Billy, good morning. Riker 66 this time, they got smaller, so 53 this time. 66 is the regular. You're joining us over on Facebook or Twitch, take a moment, join us over here on YouTube, youtube.com/thelaunchpad. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss other space news updates, exclusive interviews. We only go live on Facebook and Twitch for our launch coverage. We'd be glad to have you here. Morning, Joe from Hong Kong. We've got Paul from Sand Island. Billy's in lurk mode. Good morning. Nightcat's doing some school stuff right now. Sounds great. Hope that's going well. We got Susan from Spain. Deborah, share it in the Discord. Feel free to share. Thanks so much, Deborah. I appreciate that. Glad to have you guys here with us this morning. First Falcon 9 launch of our Starlinks that we've seen in a number of months, and we're excited to start seeing these missions start to spool up with possibly 2 more Starlink missions scheduled over the next 30 days, along with the launch of the DART mission, the double asteroid redetection test that'll be launching from Vandenberg in about a week or so. Lots of launches coming up here on the Launchpad. We cover all the major launch companies, of course, the smaller ones as well. We have some testing coming up from Rocket Lab, from Astra, and Virgin Orbit now has a launch on the timeline as well. So make sure you keep an eye out for those launches. We'll be pre-scheduling them as soon as we get T0s confirmed. Nightcat's in the Philippines. Deborah's in the Netherlands. Deborah, thank you so much for that super chat saying, hey, you. $2, €2. Yep, euros. Super chat. I appreciate that, supporting the channel in that way. You're wondering why I keep looking over my shoulder? It's because we do have our live tracker open. We are on that road to 10K subs. We don't want to miss that moment. So thank you guys for that support. If we take a look at the pad, knowing mission control audio is turned on here. So should they say anything, we should hear some updates until we get SpaceX's full live stream here in just a few minutes. But launching from Complex 40, Space Canaveral Space Force Station, just a few miles down the road from Slick 40. It's a very common SpaceX launch location and has the landing sites just down from there. Hey Carl, how's it going? It is very foggy out there. Zanston X, did they scrub it again? We were go up until a minute ago when we hit go live, so let's double check here. I don't have confirmation of that. Ooh. Yeah, they're definitely not scrubbed. They're going for it. SpaceX just went live, and they just confirmed that second stage prop load is complete. So we're definitely not scrubbing at this point, or at least not yet. We'll take a look and see. Take a moment, hit that like, subscribe button. It really does help us out. We're gonna patch in SpaceX here, and of course, moment they go live with an update about the rocket, we will listen in to hear any news on the weather as well. We know it was quite foggy in the region there this morning. Your first time here, also let us know in the chat. Love to give you a welcome here. There we go. Got SpaceX mission control all spooled up. Carl's in the Philippines as well, expecting to launch with all the fog. They can launch in weather. They can launch in fog. They can launch in rain. The biggest thing they have to be looking out for is any sort of lightning conditions and stuff like that. That's what they're really looking out for with it, especially since it's not crew as well. There are some slightly different variations of launch protocols just because of that as well. So it is still possible to launch in fog. We've seen it before. We've seen Soyuz launch all the way through a full blizzard. So there are different protocols depending on the rocket and what the payload is. If you're just joining us, welcome. You're just in time to watch our full live launch coverage of Starlink 4-1, launching 53 Starlink satellites from Slick 40, Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. We do have an instantaneous launch window here today at 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time or 12:19 UTC. Instantaneous launch window means if for any reason at this point that we hear a hold called, the mission will have to be scrubbed for today, with a backup most likely be able to take place within 24 to 48 hours. Today's booster is a previously flown booster 1068. This is its 9th flight. This booster was first introduced for the Demo 2 flight with Bob and Doug back in May 20th, 2020. Then has supported 4 other Starlink missions, 1 CRS mission. It supported the Transporter 1 mission as well as an Analysis 2 mission. So it's had quite the lifetime. Longest turnaround it ever experienced was this turnaround, getting ready for today's flight, 181 days. All previous ones were under 78 days, as low as only 27-day turnaround. So they had a little bit longer here, preparing for its 5th Starlink flight and its 9th flight in its total history. They can launch with heavy fog. Remember, I said 9 on 10. Remember, I said 11. We didn't see where that one went the moment it left the pad. Michael, they're launching the latest version of their Starlink. They are. So on board is the a batch of the 2.0 version of the Starlink Constellation satellites that feature their lasers. Was one reason we saw a slight delay this summer to a number of these Starlink missions that we expected to see in July was actually that 2 reasons. One, they were upgrading to this 2nd generation, and rather than launching some and then having to replace them later, they decided just to wait. And 2, there was an issue with getting enough liquid oxygen to actually be able to launch all of these Falcon 9 rockets. So it was something they were having to wait and consider when they were able to launch and what payloads they were able to launch. Obviously, prioritizing their crewed missions and some of their customers' payloads prior to them. Susan's asking what's the total amount of Starlink satellites currently launched. That's a really great question. A lot. Let me see if we have a number at this point. From what we understand, Shell 1 will contain 1,584 satellites. Shell 2 will contain 720. Shell 3, 348. Shell 4, 1,584. Shell 5, 172. So this is the first of many, many launches we are expecting to see into Shell 4. Currently, they are building, it's a total of 11,716 satellites that they will need. I'm not sure we have a updated number at this point. The first shell we know is complete, and that has 1,584. We're just over that 1,500 mark. If you're just joining us, though, take a moment to engage that like, subscribe button. We're going to listen into SpaceX Mission Control for an update on the rocket and the weather. You're watching our live launch coverage of Starlink 4-1 right here on the launch pad. Stay with us. you have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat. Tag us at the launch pad, and that'll make sure that we're able to answer those live.
It's Saturday, November 13th, and you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. My name is Good morning. It's Saturday, November 13th, and you're looking at a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. My name is Yomei Zhou, and I'm a propulsion engineer here at SpaceX, joining you from our headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Thank you for joining us for our 15th Starlink launch of the year and SpaceX's 23rd mission of 2021. Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX that can provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe. This launch will send 53 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit, which brings us one step closer to near global coverage of the populated world in 2021. It's been an exciting week here at SpaceX with the return of NASA's Crew 2 astronauts on Monday, followed on Wednesday by the launch of Crew 3, who just docked with the space station less than about 36 hours ago, and we'll talk more about that later in the broadcast. The latest weather forecast shows 90% favorable for liftoff. The vehicle, satellites, weather, and range are all looking good for an on-time liftoff just a few minutes from now. Now, Falcon 9 stands 70 meters tall and is a two-stage rocket designed and manufactured by SpaceX for the reliable and safe transport of people and payloads into Earth orbit and beyond. For all of you Star Wars fans, this fun fact is for you. Our Falcon 9 rocket is named after what some would say is the fastest ship in the galaxy, aka the Millennium Falcon, and the number 9 indicates the number of Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. The bottom two-thirds of the vehicle is the first stage, and you may be able to just make out the soot markings left over from its previous 8 flights. The booster you see on your screen has previously supported NASA's Crew Demo 2, Anasis 11, CRS 21, Transporter 1, and 4 previous Starlink missions. The first stage accelerates the vehicle through the Earth's atmosphere into space with the help of 9 Merlin engines at the base of the rocket. We will be attempting to recover the first stage on our drone ship, Just Read the Instructions, which for reference is about the size of a football field, and if successful, it will mark the 87th recovery of a Falcon 9 first stage. On top of the first stage is the black carbon fiber inner stage, and on top of that is the Falcon 9 second stage, which has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine. Now, once the first and second stages separate, at about 2.5 minutes in the mission, the MVAC engine will ignite and carry the Starlink satellites to a low Earth orbit around the Earth. The stack of satellites is safely enclosed inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which you can see on your screen there, which is that pointed cone at the very top of the rocket. Now, this payload fairing protects the payload from aerothermal loads, heating, and contamination during ascent. Once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing halves as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. And just as we reuse Falcon 9, we do recover and reuse our fairing halves as well. The fairing halves we're using today are flight proven, so one half supported the GPS 3-4 mission and a Starlink mission, and the other half has previously supported a different Starlink mission. We will be attempting to recover these halves again using our recovery vessel, Finn. Propellants have been loading on the vehicle since T-minus 35 minutes. Falcon 9 is a bipropellant vehicle, which means it uses 2 propellants, a fuel and an oxidizer. An oxidizer is a type of chemical that a fuel requires in order to burn. So most burning on Earth uses oxygen, which is readily available in Earth's atmosphere. But in space, there's no atmosphere to provide oxygen or any other oxidizers, so rockets need to carry up their own. For Falcon 9, our fuel is a refined form of kerosene known as RP1, and our oxidizer is a super chilled liquid oxygen called LOX. The liquid oxygen is chilled well below its boiling point, so it becomes what we call densified, which means that it has a much greater amount of mass per volume and means we can load more of it into the booster. In addition to its propellants, Falcon 9 also needs an ignition source in order to go. And for that, we use the chemical TTEB, or triethyl aluminum and triethyl borane. When it's fully fueled, Falcon 9 holds just over 1,000,000 pounds of propellant that the vehicle will burn through in less than 3 minutes after liftoff. Currently, fuel is fully loaded on both stage 1 and stage 2, and liquid oxygen is about 90% on stage 1 and about halfway on stage 2. Once all the tanks are full, both stages will continue to be topped off with propellant until T-minus 2 minutes to keep temperatures as cold as possible. The latest weather forecast is showing about 90% favorable for liftoff. The vehicle, satellites, weather, and range continue to look good for an on-time liftoff just a few minutes from now.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We're sitting T minus 7 minutes, 10 seconds until Falcon 9 is expected to lift off from Slick 40. Lots of fog in the region, but I think it makes a pretty cool looking launch site. Makes it pretty ominous looking, but I'm sure there'll be some incredible photos. They're walking through Crew 3 that launched. We're glad to have most of you there with us for that Crew 3 launch and docking coverage over the past week. Crew 3 settling into their home and getting right into the research and getting used to the International Space Station. If you guys have questions, you can send those into the chat. Just tag us at the launch pad as usual with a Starlink mission. We do have a little bit of time for a coast phase, but not very long actually. Today, normally we're used to a full hour and about 4 to 6 minutes before we see Starlink deployment. Today, we're expecting just 15 minutes following launch that deployment. That's why today is an instantaneous launch window. To give you an idea of what we can expect to see at T minus 7 minutes, Falcon began to engine chill in advance of its launch. At T minus 1 minute, the flight control computers will begin their final pre launch checks aboard the rocket. Then, also at T minus 1 minute, propellant tank pressurization will begin to be ready for flight pressure levels. T minus 45 seconds, SpaceX launch director will do a final go no go for launch. T minus 3 seconds, the ignition sequence will start, and then, of course, at T0, Falcon 9 will lift off from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying 53 the next generation Starlink satellites up, beginning the fourth shell of the Starlink constellation. Max fuel will occur about a minute into flight, followed by main engine cutoff or MECO at T plus 2 minutes 32 seconds. Fairing deployment T plus 2 minutes 59 seconds, and we are expecting to see that first stage booster landing right around T plus 8 minutes 46 seconds. So a very busy back-to-back launch here, especially with that earlier payload deployment. Next up, we're expecting to see strong back retract, and that's where we will see that claw just around the base of the fairing open up and then slowly retract just a little bit from Falcon 9. Most of the strong back retract actually occurs during the liftoff sequence itself, but they do prepare it just a little bit in advance. Vaughn asking why so many satellites. Do they really need 1,700 for global coverage? Well, they actually need 14 to 16,000 minimum. Their hope is eventually possibly all the way up to 40,000. There you can see on your screen that strong back retract starting to begin. The difference is Starlink is at a much lower altitude than some of the other constellations, so they need more satellites to be able to cover the ground that they want to. Also, they want to get to a much higher or much lower latency, a much higher speed. Also, Starlink is not going to be just internet. Its beginning is that, but it will transition to satellite communications for cell phones, as it is expected over the next 3 years for most major phone carriers to transition to offering a satellite communication option rather than going to your local carrier. You'll be able to get like Starlink service for your cell phone, which I'm personally excited about traveling a lot across the border. It'll be able to help bring that cost hopefully down. So there's a number of reasons why they need the number of satellites they do. Earth is big, so they need to be able to cover every part of it. We're already seeing that with some of the preparations they've done through the national disaster response, where they were able to just bring a couple Starlink dishes in and have satellite communications restored much faster than the normal communication methods. SpaceX did just confirm this week with the FCC they have 140,000 active users in 20 countries currently using Starlink. So, a great sign as they begin to ramp up their main Starlink use. Coming down T minus 3 minutes. Next big milestone we're looking at is startup, and things will be transitioning very quickly. So take a moment, hit that like, subscribe button. It really helps us out. Share out the broadcast. Let people know that we're just 2 minutes 30 seconds away from liftoff of Starlink 4-1 from Slick 40. We're going to listen into mission control here for the final count. And as always, here at T minus 2 minutes, we want to hear from you. Let's see a go, no go in the poll. Should they launch here today? And we will be seeing liftoff here in T minus 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Stay with us.
Looks like a beautiful early morning in Florida.
Stage 2 LOX load has closed out.
Stage 2 LOX loading is now complete. We are fully loaded with propellant on our Falcon 9 first and second stages. And you may have seen those little puffs of white clouds venting from our transporter erector LOX line. This is expected and normal. Again, at T minus 1 minute here, coming up in 30 seconds, Falcon 9 will be in startup. This means that Falcon 9's internal flight computers will take over the countdown and our first and second stages will begin pressurizing for launch.
Gas closeouts has started.
A few seconds after that, you will hear the launch director give our final go for launch, and then we'll be set for liftoff.
Coming up on T minus 60 seconds, that's when vehicle will go into startup and really start to prepare for its final liftoff
Falcon 9
here.
is in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Our first and second stages are pressurizing for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Go for launch.
1.
Our launch director has given that final go for launch. All systems are go. Let's listen into the terminal count and watch as Falcon 9 takes our 53 Starlink satellites into orbit.
Vehicle is touching down.
T minus 30 seconds. T minus 15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Vehicle is pushing down range.
Power range telemetry nominal.
What beautiful views from Falcon 9 first as it lifts off from Cape Canaveral Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space
Falcon is
Station.
supersonic.
We are carrying our 53 Starlink satellites to orbit. Moments ago, we throttled our engines down in preparation for max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure, which we should be passing through in just a few moments.
XQ.
We did just pass through max Q, and we will have 3 events happening in quick succession in just a few minutes, which first we will have main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, and second engine startup 1. So first main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines that you can currently see firing will shut off to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation. And this is where the first and second stages will separate, with the first stage starting to make its way back down to Earth for landing, while second stage continues on its journey to this third event, which is second engine startup 1. And this is where the single MVAC engine on the second stage will light up, and this propels the MVAC, propels the second stage along with our Starlink satellites to their targeted orbit.
T plus 2 minutes into flight, traveling 5,000 kilometers an hour, passing through 45 kilometers in altitude.
They'll happen just a few seconds apart from one another.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We will also have our fairing deployment from our second stage very shortly after those 3 events, and we should hopefully get some cool live views from our second stage. You can see the Falcon 9 first stage going through the mist there.
Stage separation confirmed.
We did have main engine cutoff and stage separation. You can see second engine startup. We did have MVAC ignition, that is second engine startup. On those live views from the second stage on your right, you can see the first stages for...
Fairing separation confirmed.
Fairing has also separated on our second stage. You can see our 53 Starlink satellites there. And there on your left, the first stages, 4 hypersonic Griffins have deployed. And again, we did have that successful fairing separation, and fairing, SpaceX has now reflown Falcon fairing halves since November of 2019. And again, this was our 3rd flight for one of those fairing halves and 2nd flight for the other half. We'll be attempting to recover those fairing halves again today using our recovery vessel Finn. The stage 2 is heading towards its targeted drop-off orbit for our Starlink satellites, and stage 1 will execute 2 burns in order to make its way back down to Earth. The first is the entry burn, where 3 of the M1D engines
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
reignite, and this helps slow the stage down as it re-enters the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere.
On your screen there, you can see right below me the live telemetry from SpaceX tracking both the booster and the second stage. Second stage currently burning. That's why that blue line is slowly increasing. The white line is its projected trajectory once the burn is complete. The lower blue line, that's the booster coming home. The booster now reaching its apogee. And will soon begin its descent, having reached 128 kilometers. It's now flipping back around, heading back to land on the drone ship. Just read the instructions. Located over 500 kilometers downrange from the launch site. But just like usual, another classic clean launch from SpaceX. Currently stage 2, traveling over 10,000 kilometers an hour, passing through 165 kilometers in altitude. We are about a third of the way. Payload deployment expected at about T plus 15 minutes.
Stage.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Both vehicles are on nominal trajectories, as you just heard. And again, the 9 Merlins on the first stage are optimized for sea level. So this means they achieve 190,000 pounds of thrust during ascent and descent. And the MVAC engine on the second stage, by contrast, is optimized for vacuum, and it produces 220,500 pounds of thrust in vacuum. You can see the first stage live views of the hypersonic grid fins, and they are positioned near the top of the first stage. And they're used for steering as the first stage makes its way back down to Earth. And again, these grid fins, you can see them moving around. They do help to orient the rocket during re-entry and guide the rocket during descent. Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs made of state-of-the-art carbon fiber with aluminum honeycomb, and they are placed symmetrically around the base of the rocket, and they'll deploy just prior to landing. In just about 20 seconds here, we'll be coming up on our stage 1 entry burn. And this is a 3-engine burn meant to slow the first stage down as it hits the thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere. It'll be about a 20-second burn.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
There's the
We did
entry
have
burn.
the start of our stage 1 entry burn. You can see on those live views, that's a 3-engine burn of the Falcon 9 first stage.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
We did have a successful stage 1 entry burn. And stage 2 is continuing to look good with our Starlink payload. For those of you who follow along, you'll know about the soot on the rocket indicates that it's been flown before. And here's a quick explanation of how that soot forms. So the rocket-grade kerosene, or RP1, used to fuel a Falcon 9 is carbon-based. So when this fuel burns, it generates soot. Now, as the booster approaches the landing site during descent and does its long re-entry burn, which it just did, to slow down prior to re-entering the atmosphere, the rocket will actually fly through its own plume, which deposits the soot onto the rocket. And if you watch the feed from the onboard cameras during landing, you can see that soot sticking on the lens.
Here we go, 5
We will
kilometers
have
in
3
altitude.
events coming up here in quick succession. The stage 1 landing burn, which will be starting here shortly, and last about
3
20
kilometers,
seconds.
slowing down through 1,000 kilometers an hour,
Vehicles and
slowing
terminal
speed.
Stage 1 landing burn
2
startup.
kilometers. Landing burn begin.
Here's the stage 1 landing burn. Can maybe just make out that drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean there. What a cool view.
Coming down onto just read the instructions. Looks like it's right on the money.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing leg. Oh, we lost the
Stage
feed
2
there. Will we
FTS
keep
is
the
safe.
boat feed? Come on. Looks like we lost the boat feed too.
We did get confirmation that stage 2 flight termination system has saved, and we should have second engine cutoff here very shortly.
Waiting for confirmation of a good landing.
Tico 1.
There's Seco, second
We did have
stage
second
cutoff.
engine cutoff here, and we are waiting on confirmation of a good orbit from our second stage. We did have a good burn and a
Nominal
good orbit.
insertion.
We are still waiting for confirmation of our first stage landing, but we will see if we can't get some information on that. But we do have a successful orbit and second engine cutoff
Stage
for
1
our
landing confirmed.
second stage.
Hey,
And we
there we
did just get
go.
confirmation of our stage 1
Acquisition
landing.
of signal, Newfoundland.
This is the 87th overall successful recovery of our Falcon 9 first stage. And next up will be payload deployment at about T plus 15 minutes and a half, 15 and a half minutes. So while we coast for the next 6 minutes or so, sit back and enjoy the tunes, and we'll see you soon.
If you're just joining us, you're just in time. We're about 5 minutes away from payload deployment of 53 Starlink satellites into the first set of the 4th stage. There's a great view of the drone ship with the booster just off center there, but a successful 9th flight for booster 1060 or 1058. It'll go back through refurbishment and be ready for its 10th flight and join as one of the 3 flight leading boosters that SpaceX currently has. 2 have already completed their 10th flight and are being prepared for their 11th now. If you are new, don't forget, engage that like, subscribe button. It really does help us out. It's totally free to do so. I'm sure you've already got 100 subscriptions, but what's one more? We are keeping a live track of both Starlink there as it goes to orbit. Another view of the pad is the safety drone ship, and soon we'll also roll out the Octograbber to prepare to be able to bring that booster home. But another smooth, great launch from SpaceX. Payload deployment about 4 to 5 minutes from now, deploying 53 of the 2nd generation Starlink satellites. If you guys have questions, send those in the chat. We'll answer those through this coast phase. It can be anything SpaceX, Starlink, Falcon 9, and we'll continue to answer those. Justin, you think it's a little too close to the flame, possibly for when they have the landing cameras? Mark asking, how come the landing cameras always fail? Biggest reason is the thrust of the Falcon 9 burning against the drone ship. It shakes up the drone ship quite a bit, though it doesn't look like it's shaking it a lot. Those vibrations are there, and it causes them normally not for the camera to lose signal, but for actually the whole drone ship to lose communication signal. So that is one of the things they've been working on. They have been getting better at it. Personally, I'd love a view from a ship, a mile off or something. But at this point, that is what we are getting. So once it settles and lands, that's why we see that footage come back within about a minute from now. Virginia, you go enjoy that first cup of coffee. Once we wrap up here, I'm going to try to get some sleep. We've been live for a number of big events over the last few days, and we're glad to have had you all here with us as we have watched Static Fire, Crew 3 launch, Crew 3 docking. But 45 minutes of sleep does start to catch up on someone. Stefan asking how many times can they fly a booster. Elon said 10,000 times. Then SpaceX came back and said, how about we do 10 and then see how the booster and the Raptors are doing. So that is what they've done. They've had 2 boosters successfully do 10 flights. Those are their record leaders, flight leaders. They're going through a very big checkout at SpaceX hangars, seeing if they need engine swap outs or if the booster's still good. This is still new. We have never had boosters be reused 10 times like this that are the main structure of a rocket. So they're doing checkouts to see, but the hope is, maybe you could get 20, 30, 40, 50 flights out of a Falcon. Even if you have to replace some of the engines, if the main tanks and stuff are able to withstand it, that's a really great sign. Yeah, a separate aerial drone shot would be really great. I agree there, Mark. Great to have you here, Justin. I know I've seen you in the chat for all of those. It's been a busy few days, but we're glad to have you all. They should have a flying drone covering the. Well, they normally keep that live view on the booster of it landing. We've seen that the last few times, but they did cut away from that signal for some reason. So hopefully we'll be able to get a full video from SpaceX later. We have seen them upload footage before post-launch. Coming up to payload deployment here, we're starting to see the Starlink system begin shortly to spin. And what it does is it's going through orbit like this. It then uses its RCS and starts to spin. So it starts to tumble. And then when it's ready for payload, they just put some springs that hold the clamp. And they spin, and then the Starlinks just float off and kind of fly off their payload holding there. So we're expecting that to be here in about a minute. So let's listen back into mission control for that payload confirmation. Are passing over the ocean, so we hopefully will have a ground station to have that live view. But there you can see that second stage starting to spin.
If you're just joining us, a quick recap of today's mission. We had a successful liftoff from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 7:19 a.m. Eastern Time. We then had successful stage separation, recovered our first stage after its 9th flight on our drone ship, just read the instructions, and had a successful second stage MVAC engine burn. We are now waiting on the deployment of our Starlink satellites. That should be happening in just about 30 seconds here. Hopefully we continue to get good ground station coverage and get signals from our payload and can continue to see these great live views of that payload there. And we have 53 Starlink satellites on today's mission. What a beautiful view from our second stage. Again, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and
Starlink deploy confirmed.
You can see we did have successful deployment of our Starlink satellites here. And again, Starlink is a satellite internet constellation designed and manufactured by SpaceX that can provide high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations all around the globe. You can see our 53 Starlink satellites floating away from the second stage there with the beautiful backdrop of the Earth in the background. And with that, the addition of these satellites, we've launched nearly 2,000 Starlinks to orbit to date. And with that, that brings today's webcast to a close. Thank you to the...
And just like that, they have deployed another 53 Starlink satellites into orbit. I know, Virginia, we're 2 away. Who is going to be our 10,000 subscriber? We are so grateful for you guys' support over the last 10 and a half months. We wouldn't even have dreamt. Oh my God, there it is. Thank you guys so much. 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. We started this channel January 1st. What a way to do it. Right when the stream ends, we hit it. Thank you guys so much. Wow, we started the channel January 1st, and we thought, maybe 100 by the end of the year. Stretch goal at 250 subscribers. 10,000, never would have imagined that. And still have a little bit time left in the year, so let's see where you guys end our year off. But thank you so much on behalf of myself and our team. We do this because of you, and we are so grateful for your guys' support over the last 10 and a half months. We got huge plans for 2022. Starbase Cam, more interviews, on-ground live launch coverage of Artemis and Falcon Heavies and everything. We're excited to have you along the way with us. If you're new, welcome here to the Launchpad. My name's Zach. I'm the host here. Here at the Launchpad, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, and we believe that space is better together. So we invite you to be part of our crew by subscribing, being active in the chat like so many of you are, and joining our Discord. It's totally free to do so. The link's there in the chat. We're gonna go probably hang out in live comms a little bit and celebrate that 10K moment. But thank you. Couldn't imagine that. What a day to start off the day. You guys are just flying through it. So here is to a great rest of 2021 and to an incredible 2022. I am going to be putting out a 10K subscriber thank you video here in the next day or so. Let's wrap our minds around it and keep an eye out for that video and watch through that whole video, because in there will be a giveaway that we're doing, and we're super excited about that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. In that video, there'll be instructions on how you can enter for that giveaway, and we're glad to have you guys along the way. Chris, hello from Portugal. Nightcat, thanks so much there. Appreciate it. Marcus, thank you, everyone. Yeah, Marcus actually sent us a really great photo. Let me pull it in here. Number of things happening all at once, but let's pull up this incredible photo Marcus took this morning of the launch. Absolutely incredible. Let's pull this up. Marcus has done some great streak photography from his location, but this is one of my favorites. Definitely gonna get this one printed out for in the studio here. Look at this absolutely incredible photo that Marcus just took of Starlink 4-1 launching from Slick 40. I love the clouds in it. It's such a great photo there. So if you guys want to see a bit more of that, we'll drop that over in our Discord. Super awesome there. David, congratulations. Thanks so much. Mike, thank you. Daryl, appreciate it. Appreciate it, Billy. Billy, 20K by the end of the next year. I don't even know how to guess where we'll be by the end of next year, the way you guys have been going. I know someone threw at 100K, and I was like, oh boy. 100K, I said I need a hat, and I said we'd be maybe doing a suborbital flight. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it'll be a journey, and we're glad to take you guys along the way with us. Awesome photo there from Marcus. Thanks for sending that in. If you guys ever have photos or videos of launches or landings from your region, send them over to us on Discord or on Twitter, and you may just be featured in an upcoming broadcast. But just before it ends, absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much for today, for hitting 10K, for the support you have been. But we're going to jump over onto Discord, I think, for a little bit here and wrap our heads around 10,022 already. You guys are blowing through it, so thank you guys for that. But this was our live launch coverage of Starlink 4-1 here today, November 13th, 2021. It's 5:30 in the morning where I am, and a very exciting day for all of our Launchpad teams, so thank you. But for now, this is Zach with the Launchpad signing off. I will see you very soon. Stay well.